My name is Dontez Lindsay. I am the general manager of Ducks Trading LLC, as well as the lead trainer of StockCraft. I'm not a financial advisor, nor a CPA, and the content I create is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I trade in my account, and everything I do is hypothetical in nature because it doesn't happen in your account. My experience with trading is not typical, nor does it guarantee that similar results will be obtained by you. I am merely sharing my opinion with no guarantee of gains or losses in investments. Remember, day trading can be extremely risky. You should be prepared to lose all the funds that you use for day trading. In particular, you should not fund day trading activities with retirement savings, student loans, second mortgages, emergency funds, funds set aside for purposes such as education or home ownership, or funds required to meet your living expenses. Further, certain evidence indicates that investments less than $50,000 will significantly impair the ability of a day trader to make a profit. Of course, an investment of $50,000 or more will no way guarantee a success. With that out of the way, let's get into the content. Morning, guys. Oh, okay, cool. All right, good morning, guys. Hope you had a good weekend. Be ready for this week, and we get some trades. For now, I'll just talk about what I see, and it's not very much, but I do see something. First thing, there's a cat in front of me, so that's one thing. But what's more important is tops, one of the plays from last week, which was not even an ideal play because it's a micro float. It had an offering on Sunday, and at 4 a.m., it just gapped down all the way to 2 from $4. So we can't really do anything about that, but it's happy, or we're happy to see it. Now, there were some people that were holding a short overnight, and I think those people were gambling since it was a micro float, but congratulations to them for making money. Because that's really hard to do when there's like barely anything or like barely any plays out there. But in the meantime, I also see something on XPEV. Now, this is $1 billion market cap, but it's from China. And since China is slowly opening up, I figured there'd be some type of hype on most Chinese stocks. And this is already in a breakout. Like a multi-day breakout. I expect it to be like really slow. Mostly, I'm just keeping it on watch. Why can't I put that there? All right. Yeah, so if you look at this on the daily, it did something like a multi-day breakout, took a slight pullback, and I think we were looking at this on that day. Someone was saying, was this a potential first red day and stuff like that. At the end of the day, it didn't pull back enough to be anything or even kill the momentum. It didn't even pull back 20%. And, it took another leg up. And now that China is opening slowly, this might keep going. Now, am I going to just trade this based off of that news? I don't think I should. But if you look at over the weekend, like there's a gap up of just like $2 on a $10 stock, which isn't very much, but it could be the start of something new.
yeah, other than that, we had that massive gap down on top. That kind of sucks that we couldn't get in on it, but at the same time, that's what happens when you do an offering overnight, and that's more of a like a windfall profit, like a random event, and then you just had to be there before. But the thing is, when it happens, there's something good that comes from this. We know that when there's an offering, most of the time the stock is going to go down like a pretty decent amount, and it's in very rare cases it doesn't go down, but an offering can happen anytime. Most of the time it happens when the stock is going up and then the company wants to get paid, and you know they'll let the stock come back just a little bit, and then on the way down, just to trap everybody in between, then they trigger the offer. But those ones that happen overnight, those are the worst. If you're long, if you're short, you'll be really happy to hold it all the way into the next day afterward. So get into a habit of doing that. The only reason I hesitated to go on tops, even though it wasn't even an option for me, was because this was a micro float. And it recently had a shelf offering, or what do we call it? No, it recently had like warrant back in October. And during that time, there was a massive, there were a lot of warrants on a lot of tickers during that time, and it just kept going up. So just looking at his past history, I know this is sensitive to like news and going up pretty easily. And I remember that. So I just kept this off my radar. I remember back then, I think a lot of us traded it. But for now, I don't see anything that I want to trade. What are you guys up to? So another thing we were looking at was RMED. So this was another one of those micro floats, and that's what was offering last week. We have to stay sensitive to what's being offered this week so we can get a head start. See, I was looking at SHPH2 Friday, just because, there was one of those micro float tickers that went up 10, like it went up like to 70 and 80 at the same time that PIXY, and it was like one other ticker at the time. All of them were easy to bounce on their way down from like $30+. And at the end of the day, when you have a downtrend like that, people remember how much money they made on these plays. So like when you see this gap right here at the bottom of it, now that becomes a consistent resistance. or like a panic candle resistance, and people like to aim for those light resistance. This one on Friday, it did its first green day, and it looks like it reversed that trend. And now on Friday, you saw this one up like 30 or 40% by the end, or was it 60? It went up a pretty decent amount, but I wrote it off because it was $1. But a little bit later, I figured this could keep going. Now, if I did like a small long, it would be on something like this, just because I know this has a reputation of being easy to run. But in reality, it's not on any news. The latest news was November 15th, over 3 weeks ago, and that was just positive. And that was just the reaction to positive earnings. Yeah, but the main thing is, this is a low float, and it's a healthcare stock. And right now, in this recession-themed market, healthcare stocks are all the rage. If we look at, this overall sector performances on the weekly and on the monthly, healthcare is usually in the top 5. And we've seen so many low floats in the penny stock that are in the healthcare sector. Okay, you're blocking half the screen. Get out of here. Troublemaker. Go. Think. Good morning. Oh, someone's looking at AMC. I think about it. Since SHPH was moving at the same time, I kind of want to check on that. They haven't had any news. Oh yeah, now I think about it. I already put, it's up here in my watch list. The SHPH. What I really want is a bounce short. Like, since I'm looking at the top gainers right now and I see some stuff up like 15%, I'm trying to recognize which one had like a gap up short or like a really heavily traded volume day. I see DBGI, so I might check that out. But looking at PIXY, there's no action. I do like the visuals though. This is one of those tickers that barely had any volume and they were jumping everywhere. I think PIXY was it was like an art thing. I feel like I should know that. Oh, not Pinterest. But not important. It's not a play right now. But this used to be over $100 until they did a reverse split. All right, just because I'm curious, I'm going to look at this $1 ticker. Now, this is also a stock from China. But I'm going to just let it be great. Well, kind of depends on the catalyst. At the end of the day, this float is too high. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch that. But what I would do is if this went up to like 200, 300%, preferably like 400%, I might be looking for a short on it, because some of the days are pretty heavy. Well, like 40 million, 30 million volume. If it gaps through all that within like a day, I think it's worth a short. Now, again, the fundamentals aren't ideal, but if you gap through over 100 million worth of individual resistance, I think you can give me 20% from the top. I'd go safely into that. And I'd rather trust the large market cap and the large float over a micro float when I'm going short. Now it's the opposite. If I was trying to go long, I'd rather have the micro float on my side. All right, so ENCSC. This is a biotech. It has some news today. Looks like they're announcing can't tell if this is insurance for their trial. So this says protection trial for overdose. But at the end of the day, there was a positive reaction to it. The stock's up 20%, and it's a biotech. That's usually enough for me to pay attention to it. So in the pre-market, this made a high, and it made a higher low, and so this kind of sets it up for a potential breakout if it goes. See if there's overhead resistance, because if it breaks this pre-market high, that'd be pretty cool. Now, in a more ideal situation, I'd like this to be more of a flat chart, because what I'm seeing right now is there's a lot of overhead resistance. So the pre-market high was around $3. And it just came off of a run about 2 weeks ago starting from like November 21st up to the 25th. So everything before that point should technically be canceled. But we're also in a market where even canceled resistances are being utilized. So this could still do a decent run. But at this point, since there's layers of resistance, like consistent and individual, I'd say once this gets to 3, it's going to struggle to move. But in the meantime, there's nothing ideal in there. I just wanted to point out that it could run a little bit. And if it went up to 3, that would put it around 40% probably. And if you get up to minimum 40% and you're testing a resistance, if the fundamentals are right, I'd give it a shot. Now this is a biotech microfloat, so yeah, not ideal. I would not risk too much. You know, on a good day, above PDT, yeah, I do it. Especially since it'd be around $3, like that minimum. If it has a lot of volume above or around $3, I'd shoot my shot. Oh, you missed me for 2 days? Well, welcome back. I'll be here every day. I kind of forgot where you went. I remember you said you were leaving. Nope, that wasn't you. That was wasn't Ben either. All I know is I miss doing this. So like when I do that, we're holding hands digitally. Just put a little dot, because that's her signature. What am I doing? Oh, RMED. This was another one of those low floats from last week. We had a lot of non-ideal multi-day breakout. The only time I'd actually short them is if they created massive, massive days where this is the most amount of volume and it just creates layers of resistance, like a double layer resistance, or even just give me a double top on the daily candle. Because what happened last week, the tops, we had something like that. Now, even before that double top, people were probably expecting a multi-day breakout, and then they got faked out within like 10 cents of the previous day's high. And when you look on the daily, that's just a double top, which is, fine. And the main reason it did that is because it went into 40 million resistance, or 40 million individual resistance. And we know how, when we're looking at a resistance, we're looking at whole dollars and half dollars. It's no surprise that this came really close to the $6, because people were using that as their risk management point. But we're still waiting for something else to pop up. KOLD, I think that's another one that we've seen over like the past few months, if I remember right, I think it's also from China. Oh, I remember why I keep seeing it. It's one of those natural gas ETF. And someone was asking me about SPY, this one, and another one. Well, at the end of the day, since China just opened up, that's a lot more people back on the road again. So the US dollar is probably going to go down because, you know, the second world's economy is going to go up. Between that and the public battle between like Elon Musk and Apple over, you know, whether they wanted to ban Twitter, I'm really excited to see how that's gonna unfold this week. I won't say too much because even the richest man in the world came out and said, I might be getting assassinated, guys. Keep an eye on me. And if he's not safe, who is? But to be fair, he's at a place where everyone is watching him. So all right, I know this stock is probably nothing, but I want to check it out just because it has the name of Billy. I don't know why I like that name. Okay, I have a decent idea. There's always the funniest person is like named Billy, and then when you want to feel like you're complaining about someone being silly, there's a good chance their name was Billy. Oh, it's also a stock from China. Yeah, their article kind of supports what I was saying earlier. Overall, most things involved with China, they're going to start another rally as the COVID control starts to ease, or the COVID restrictions are slowly lifting. They even gave us a list of some of the blue chips or large caps we can look at. Now, some of them may have some type of sympathy play. What we can do is go through FinViz and pretty much put in our favorite exchange, put in the country, see what pops up. I want to see what health. Oh, I forgot. FinViz isn't on until 9:30. So I'm looking at the data from Friday. Wow, Billy. My name must be Billy. Okay. Yeah, but the main thing is this is already running. So if we're doing normal momentum trading and just thinking the market is always looking at future expectations, or looking at the past, in the present moment, we see this is going up. So it may continue to go up. Ah, I get it. You missed me and you missed everyone else in the stream. Yeah. You know, it's always a small group that are always here. That's right. It's about 11 people. They come in and out. Some days when it's hot, they'll jump to the play first. They'll jump on a play faster than me. Then they'll warn me not to succumb to FOMO or succumb to anything else that'll mess up your trade. They really got my back. All right, let's see how this is doing. Yeah, so I don't think tops is gonna move at all. Like right now it has a volume of like 5 or 6 million in the pre-market. Now keep in mind, this only has 2 million float. So that's already 2, almost 3 rotations. And when we start talking about like buyer insufficiency and you know, all things associated with float rotations, this is at that point where I think it's pulled back enough that I can't really picture it going lower, especially since it's on the NASDAQ exchange. So you have that natural pressure around $1, trying to keep the stock valid to stay on NASDAQ. Now, all the gains that were on the daily that came from 2, it pretty much wiped out all of them. Yeah, see that? Went straight through the floor. It's even lower than 2 months ago. Well, that's what an offering does. Usually, if there is some type of uptrend on the daily or just like a gap up, you get that offering, it wipes out all the gains on the daily, like all the range of that day. And then that's where you start going through those supports. It's just a little disappointing that it happened all at once over the weekend. Now, this would be like my bread and butter if it was like a $5 to $8 stock, and then it extended about like 100, maybe 200%. No, yeah, closer to 100%. Yeah, I'd hold it for a day or two. But at that point, as soon as you see an offering, you're gonna get taxed. You're gonna be squeezed for all you have from your broker. That borrow that was originally like 10 cents, they're gonna turn it into like 70 cents. And then you hold it overnight, they're gonna charge you like I think it's like $4, like four times the original price. Now I kind of don't even know what it is. I just used the calculator on TradeZero's website. I know the other day I missed a play just because I thought the borrows were way too expensive. Pretty much I planned to pay 5% of my profits, but after I looked at the borrow fees, it said I'd pretty much have to pay like 20%. And I was like, nah. But that's a pride thing. You don't want your pride to be inside of trading. You want to stick to the long term. Can you make the money that's going to put you in the best position long term? And in my case, I have to be super careful because of PDT. But that will change once we start to, actually get some plays. And right now, we still don't see anything. Let's check on the chat room. Oh. A lot of them are griefing. They're griefing top and not being able to get in at 1 a.m. California time, 4 a.m. Eastern time. They said it instantly went to 174. Now you have that. That happens more than you would think. One time during 2021, I stayed up to 4 a.m. trying to look at the futures market, and I was trying to catch some type of edge, like just get an idea of what people that get up at 4 a.m. Eastern time, like what are they actually trading? Because the liquidity in the market, it's so small or so low at that time. So I just know there was a lot of cases where I'll actually try to trade in the pre-market and then I'll get squeezed, and it would act like it's an intraday, or it would move like it was an intraday move, and I didn't like it, so I just decided not to trade in the pre-market unless we're talking within the 30 minutes from the bell. Like, the only thing I do like to do in pre-market is get my borrows around 5:30, because that's just a sweet spot for me when dealing with TradeZero's borrow fee system or borrow fee robot. There's always like a chink in their cheap armor, and I like to aim for it. And I think it's somewhere around 5:30. Yeah, but for now, when I see the volume on SHPH and top, it's a lot better than the volume on RMED. I can't even say that right. RMED. Pretty much, I'm looking for something like 3 million up to like 6 million, just to prove that the stock can hold something. Oh, I remember. And I just need to give you guys something to watch, because right now we're watching paint dry. So let's just put up all the Chinese stocks and see if they actually do continue the trend. Because whenever we have like a news that gives hype, that hype usually lasts only 3 days. There's sometimes where it lasts more, but it's more of like a chain effect. If we're just talking pure catalyst, 3 days is a good gauge for me. It helps me stay consistent with that standard. Yeah, but there's no plays right now at all. But that might change in the first 15 minutes of the market open. So let's see. I need to start buying music for the stream. I really want to play music, but I also don't want to get like all those copyright strikes. Now I did get away with it a few times, but I just turned it down the music really low. But eventually they caught on to me. Especially when we were listening to someone came out with something. I think it was Drake's new single. Yeah, it was Drake's new album. That was a while back.
Market is open.
I know what I want to see. All right. We got the push on SHBH. Tops is actually going up a little bit. Now, when it comes to like an offering, one of my favorite offerings came from a ticker that every day it traded like 180 million. And it was a $2 to $3 ticker. And it had an offering after it went from $3 to like 240. And that offering happened at 240 and it brought it all the way down to 150. And when we went back up to that 240 mark, that offering created a resistance because it was just a really heavily volume ticker in general. And it took us like over half a day to break that 240 level. I'm trying to remember the name of this ticker. I just know we traded it multiple times. And then when we went past that 240, that ticker went all the way to like $4 and like 80 cents or something like that. So I really like to watch how offering reacts on these lower price tickers, you know, just in case I actually try to trade one of these. But it looks like our hopes of getting a push on ENSC still has we still have a chance. It did a pull, but the bounce is just as strong. And what happens is it just bounced off the bottom. The bottom of the support and pre-market. Now this was only up like 15-16%. So even if it does move, it still has a few layers to get back to its pre-market high. That'd be point. And I'd be looking for 3 for a minimum bounce short anyway on that. So before that, it's just something to watch. Now, that itself wasn't ideal. But if I ever get to the point where I feel more comfortable to long things, especially if I want to hold it for a decent amount of time, I'd start with the biotech that are micro floats, and they have a similar action to what this is doing. Pretty much a high and a higher low. Yeah, it creates a gap and then a higher low. Try to get a pre-market breakout. And where I would enter is after the initial pull at the open. Now, in this case, this doesn't look like it's finding any kind of support, but that can easily change when we get into like the first rush hour in the first 30 minutes, and then be supported by the second rush hour from 10 to 30 or 10 to 10:30. All right, so we have some new tickers popping up. There's LU. Okay, get off the keyboard. I'm logging in. The cat is just so bent on cuddling right now. Like, stop typing. There's something else that popped. Keep hitting this mic. I'm gonna have to fix that. think I remember TXMD being something. Nope. Don't want to be thorough. Make sure. Don't be sad if it is something later. Yeah, so it's another healthcare stock. This TXMD, if I remember right, if I remember right, this is something that was running the same time drug like DRUG was running. And I kind of attached the two of them in my head. This had a definitive agreement, or it announced a definitive agreement yesterday. Yeah, but there's probably nothing going on with that. Yeah, go to the next. There was LU, something else that popped up. Oh, there's even more now. Oh, but that one has no volume. It has 20K volume. Huh. That's not popped up. Let's see what kind of ticker LU pops up on my scanner, but I can't put it up on the chart. Okay, it's a stock from China in the financial sector, and it's New York Stock Exchange. And the float is $1 billion. Okay, so I wouldn't trade this just because I'm not familiar with trading floats in the billion, unless it has a very unique price action, like, you know, blue chip cutting in half. Then I try some hype play and statistics on there. But for now, since I can't bring up LU over there, I'll do it on here. And that has more to do with the data exchange, or the data provider, said the data exchange, than the actual trading platform. And so it looks like the data provider on TradeZero actually houses the LU data. Now, I don't like trading on New York Stock Exchange as much. I do respect it because they're the ones with like all the money. Versus, you know, New York Stock Exchange, they're more like tech heavy and things like that. I will only trade between NASDAQ and a little bit of AMEC. But New York Stock Exchange, there's just so much money going everywhere that the price action just looks completely different than the other exchanges. So I just consider them another league. And until I get to the point where I master, or like I'm completely comfortable with all NASDAQ and most of like AMEX, I'm gonna just let New York Stock Exchange be great. But it's more of like in a retirement mode. If there's something that's really appealing comes out, I'll come out of retirement or put my hand in the pot. But sometimes I like looking on the daily on some of these $1 billion caps. It's kind of relaxing just seeing how slow this goes. But then I think about the opportunity cost and how, you know, when the market is actually providing those quick moves, you can make like 20-30% versus looking at these kind of tickers, you need to wait. Like this looks like 3-4 months to get the same amount. I'll pass. Okay, we have another one that popped up. E8. I don't think I finished looking at DBGI. Also see VERU is starting to get some attention. That's another one of those tickers we've seen in the past few weeks. And I'm only mentioning it because what happens is a lot of these are a part of the short-term history, and people remember that. And since there's nothing going on, since in a bear market we have like low liquidity, people are going to go to what they're comfortable with. And so that's buying cheap micro floats and things that they remember. So with DBGI, forgot the thing. I put it on the daily candle. I just heard Steven yawn, scared the cat. he thought he was in trouble. Had some really heavy volume days. All right, so that's the second one. This has been downtrending for a while on DBGI, but it looks like his nature in general is to go on a run. Like we have several days where it would go anywhere from like 3 days to like 10 days, making his way down, and then take pretty much it'd go down for a week or two and then come back up for a week. And right now it looks like we're in the start of it going back up. Now in comparison, or like relative to itself, it looks like it tests the high before it goes back lower. And the high at this point is at $7. And right now we're at $4. So I'd like to take the middle and say this might run up to like 550. But at the end of the day, let's look at the micro cap, micro float. That's why we're seeing so much movement on this. It's really easy for this to go up 100%. And the last catalyst was over 3 days ago. It looks like they had an acquisition. Did they buy? Did they get bought? So let's look at E8. It's also another stock from China. Told you guys we're gonna be busy chasing all these Chinese stocks. You know, but what we're really waiting for though is the next HKD or AMTD. If we get another ticker that, you know, wakes up the market, that's where what the market is going to offer for that week is going to be based off of that hype play. So we need some kind of parabolic to wake up the market because it's asleep right now. And, you know, there's a high chance it might come from China. Now, if it is another HKD, hopefully I'm not an early short. That's all I ask. But even if it is, I won't get caught because I have a risk and I am disciplined enough to listen to that risk. See, you guys think I'm talking to you, but I'm actually talking to me. Probably this guy too. Sleep on half the keyboard. Yeah, but for now, EH is the only thing that's on the chart right now. And it's going on its 5th green day. It's a downtrending chart. Most of those individual resistances stop under 3 million. And I think we're already past that point. Nope, we're at 2 million right now. So we just went past the first rush hour. We're up 25%. When we get past the second, maybe this will put us above 30%. So it's been grinding, especially since it's on SSR. We'll go to the 2-month and 15-minute candle. We're going to see what kind of momentum can we get from this. Like, it has a lot of sideways action around 4. So I'm going to consider this the neutralized area. Somewhere between like 450 and 5. I'm going to just say it's 480. I'm gonna go off of yesterday's high. Let me see what kind of natural resistance is what we have when people play their risk management off of it. So I'm gonna take 30% off of yesterday's high, or I'm gonna add it to yesterday's high, and it gives us about 760. Let's see how this reacts at 760. As at this point, there's new management inside of EH, and this isn't the first time we've seen new management in a company, especially from China. You remember about like a month ago, a stock went up 200 something percent, and then they said it was because of one of the executives or one of the managers being excited about something. Like, it was a very vague announcement, and then the announcement was like slightly delayed after the spike, or somewhere in like the later half of it. At the end of the day, a lot of these Chinese stocks are pump and dump, and so you want to have a tight risk around them. And when you do see some topping on the dumps, you can be comfortable. You should get comfortable like chasing it and covering profits on the way down. The main thing I want to see is something similar to, what was that thing? It was the one that went from like $4 all the way up to 12, and then it had massive resistance, like 400 million, somewhere around 8, and it gapped right through that and came back down. So part of it was the pump and dump, and the other part was like a gap through. We really like to see those kind of plays. Now, whether that's something that's being offered on EH, I doubt it, because again, most of these individual resistances are like 3 million, and they have a lot of overhead resistance, but none of it is concentrated. Sorry, Ben. I did not. I didn't even check it myself. See me in the chat. I'll ask him. Whoa, what? Now see, if I ask him about a ticker that's under $1, he'll get me slapped. What? Hold on, let me make sure nothing's broken. All right. Can I type this in wrong? Nope, no, that's right. Right. Trying to figure out if I was like an early short on this. And I was looking for a squeeze, because this did pull back right at the open. How far is this squeeze gonna go? And what happens is a lot of these Chinese stocks, especially like the low float ones, they do it a lot. Actually, it didn't even have to be low float on some of these stocks from China. Like, just look at the previous day. It was like a slow grind the entire day. That's a trap. Today, maybe they're going to change it up. Maybe they're going to give you the false hope that you can capitalize on that $2 of extension, and then just slowly keep squeezing you, following the same theory that on the multi-day breakout, this is just going to keep slow grinding. Okay. So it didn't get to my estimate of like 750, but it got pretty close. what I was doing was just pretty much making a risk management off of the yesterday's high, trying to calculate a squeeze. Now I put on 30% just because like normally I put on 20 for like a squeeze kind of thing, but the 30 was like a little insurance. It looks like it took the happy middle with the 720, but for now, oh, DBGI came back. Oh. No worries, I'm starting to build slowly. LOL. It's CEI. Look back. Yeah, this is that one that Steven traded several times. My thing is, when he traded this, a lot of it had to do with like dollar block and you know, we're in like massive multi-day run trends, and we were playing off of that. And yeah, I can't even say this is like shorted to the ground and we might expect some type of, you know, pop. This thing is dead. Like, it's at 10 cents. A part of me was thinking whether it was like a split or something that I missed. They do their yearly thing. He and Gratani will know why I'm asking. All right, I'll ask him. But if I get slapped, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you on Discord. No range? Need more push? Oh, I said I meant EH. Why everything under $1? You know, if you ask me, who am I supposed to ask? Oh wait, probably Steven. We shorted this at 54. Oh, I was about to say, I remember $4. I don't remember trading this at 54. Okay, here we go. Well, I'm not even looking for anything on the DBGI. I just want to see if I can make a thesis and if it's somewhere in the ballpark. You know, I'm not going for accuracy. I'm going for precision and see if I can make some type of hypothetical profits off the volatility. But guys, it's 10 o'clock. And nothing is ideal. There's no plays, at least in my playbook. So I'm gonna head out. You guys should be safe so we can capitalize on what the market's offering later. Still trying to see if there's anything here that I didn't see last time, other than just like massive volume days. Because like part of me thinks this uptrend, like this 4 days right here, everything before that point technically is canceled, and now it just dropped like pretty much 40% on the daily, and maybe it'll go back up because those are all canceled, and then they're not heavy enough days to where below 6 it'll affect anything. So yeah, this has the potential to run, but it's gonna have to run without me because I think I'll wait. Oops. Where's the SH? Nope, didn't even do anything. Yeah, but it didn't have to happen quick on these kind of plays. I feel like eventually those will start to move. All right, guys, I'm heading out. Buy me, bro. You can slap me back. Nah, I wouldn't do that. You're awesome, Ben. Much love, bro. Gotta switch gears. Be safe. Peace. Is there any multi-day runners right now that I have missed? Well, I haven't seen anything. Well, it's kind of a lie. I have seen like EH. Yeah, I haven't seen anything ideal that's a multi-day runner. Like there's no plays right now, no opportunity. There are a few things that I looked at long, but ultimately, yeah, there's nothing. Might come back at 1 p.m. to see if there's any new developments. I don't understand this candle. Yeah, but in the meantime, yeah, nothing. Not even a weekend. What is it? Candle? All right. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow. And into the second rush hour.